Well, the new Resident Evil 4 Remake trailer just dropped, so I figured I might as well make a quick analysis video where I share what I noticed in the trailer and my general thoughts and predictions going forward. So my first thing is that this first area looks like it might be either an altered version of the area where Sadler kidnaps Ashley on the island, or instead of her being locked in the room with the cameras, this is actually going to be where we find her after the ritual with Salazar. And as we can see, the pit that Salazar drops us into before the fight with Verdugo is here. So I think it's safe to say that it's going to follow the original game, and we will probably have to fight Verdugo just after this area. And here's a new enemy concept that we've got, which is that the plagas that are the third type plagas that we get in the game that can walk around freely and latching on to a zealot and making them quite rabid. This actually reminds me of the parasites in Operation Raccoon City that did a similar thing to the zombies. Also in this scene we have the tactical vest, so that's also confirmed to return in the game. And with this shot of Sadler, I have to say he is reminding me, first off, he looks fantastic and quite scary, but he also reminds me of Ralph Fiennes. I suppose those three descriptions are all basically the same thing now that I think about it. And continuing on with the scary theme, we've got the redesigned cultists, which look quite intimidating, and also we have the elevator here, which is the elevator that leads us up to the boss fight with Salazar. So again, this is looking all very, very faithful. Also in this clip we can see that the cultists can sprout both types of plagas now, so it can either be the whip-like one or the one that bites your head off, which of course you can parry. Also, blink and you miss it, but you can use the dodge to actually avoid and duck attacks. I have a feeling this is going to be very useful. And with more of the castle, we have the start of the castle from the original game with the catapults and the cannon, which the layout of which looks pretty much identical. And there's even a blue medallion there. This scene with Lewis is presumably the remix version of the scene where he gives us the medicine. And speaking of Lewis, it looks like he is going to be with us for a lot more of the game than he was in the original, as we have the double Gigante fight, Los Gigantes, is now confirmed, but Lewis is with us there as well. So my theory would be that he's going to be with us for a larger portion of the game, and he's still going to die, presumably at Sadler's hands, but by that point we'll actually have formed a closer attachment to the character, and his death will actually have more of an impact and more meaning. We see here we've got the mining area, which has the boulder just before the fight with the two Gigantes, and instead of a Sal being here, we've got a Bea sister. So they are now confirmed to return as well, so the Bea sisters are back. Looks pretty much like we're getting every enemy from the game returning here. It doesn't look like anything has been cut so far. And here, this small clip, we've got the Armaduras, the Plaga-controlled suits of armor, have also returned for Ashley's segment, so that's another returning enemy, and this segment is now looking a lot scarier than it was in the original. And the killer of speedruns, the room that batters novices and puts challenge runs to the test, Waterhall, is returning, and it looks like it's going to have a similar rhythm as the original game. So buckle up, the hardest room in Resident Evil 4 has returned. It's also nice to see that we're getting Leon being more compassionate and empathetic towards Ashley here, reassuring her. It's these tiny little details that help make the characters feel a bit more human and get us a bit more invested in them, rather than feeling like Ashley is just cargo that we have to carry around with us. You know, like trying to help the grandparents move out of the house, so you've got to carry this thing that just shouts at you all the time. And I like that this scene is also giving a bit more of a goofy side to Lewis. It actually, this little sequence here reminds me of the Mask of Zorro movie. That's exactly what it reminds me of.
Then come, Sancho Panza! Let us rescue the Princess Dulcinea!
You're gonna hurt yourself.
And both Mike and the island are returning, and even the bad traffic line. The minecart sequence is even more over the top than it was in the original, as it's now way more Indiana Jones, Donkey Kong in style with multiple tracks. And you may not have noticed it first time watching the trailer, but we've also got two Salvadors in this little clip here. One here on the left at the start, and then there's one over there on the right. This area I think is going to be the final boss area. It looks to be some kind of massive plaga hive, which maybe is them trying to maybe connect the lore to Resident Evil 8 with the Mega Mycete and all of that stuff. Or it's just to make it a bit more cinematic and interesting, and perhaps might hint at what Sadler's final transformation might be. He might be quite different in this game than he was in the original. Yet another returning enemy, we have the Garrador, and he looks much beefier than he did in the original. He is a beefy boy here, he looks genuinely scary, and the area that you're fighting him in this clip looks like it's an updated version of the original prison area where we first find him in the game. Even more returning enemies, because everybody's favourite enemy to hate, Novistadores. They're also flying in at the end of the trailer. We've also got the Plaga removal chair, so it looks like that sequence will be much the same as in the original game as well. And of course, we have to talk about Krauser. This boss fight is looking to be exactly what I hoped it would be. No more QTEs, it's all about player skill and timing with parrying his attacks. It's looking like the Krauser fights are going to be absolutely insane and a real test of a player's skill, which is what I want. Interestingly enough, we can also hear that he refers to Leon as a rookie, which is a nice callback to Resident Evil 2.
Ready to die, rookie.
But he also says, you can't save anyone.
You can't save anyone.
And I'm thinking that might imply that in the remake, Krauser's going to be blaming Leon for his near-death experience. Perhaps it wasn't some kind of underhanded plan by Krauser originally to go and meet Wesker. Maybe in this version of events, it was a genuine accident, or Leon had some culpability to it, at least in Krauser's mind. I guess we'll have to find out. What is clear though is he definitely has a hate crush, based on this screenshot anyway. And the question that I needed answered and has finally been answered. The Mercenaries has returned for Resident Evil 4 Remake. So anyone that's already following the channel and has been for some time, you know exactly what this means. Yes, I will be doing as much Mercenaries as I can for Resident Evil 4 Remake. I will be making guides, I will be going for world records. It's a whole new era of Resident Evil 4 Mercenaries, and I am so excited for this to get going. This trailer has honestly blown my expectations out of the water. I'm just desperate to play this now. I am so desperate to play it, and I hope that special demo comes out really soon, because we're exactly 1 month away. I want this. I want to play this game now. But anyway, let me know what you think about the trailer and the upcoming game in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Oh, and one final reaction, which is my reaction to all of the YouTube channels that were the clickbait leak videos about RE4 Remake, when they were coming out with leaks such as Krauser won't be in the game, the island won't be in the game, all of this stuff. Not naming anyone in particular, Evil Bloods. This is just my final reaction on that as well.